Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I am Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider for Clutch Points, joined on this fine Tuesday night. How is it only Tuesday?
Yeah.
By Raj Chapalu, also of Clutch Points. Raj, Bronny made it 3.
Yes, he did. I've been telling people, you as well, and offline, people not believing me. I'm like, his shot's getting better. He's making a consistent amount of threes in the G League. And if you saw him tonight, Anthony, he hit that 3 and he just, backpedaled as if he's not shooting 8% in the league. But, he backpedaled as if he meant
made
to do
him
that.
jump all the way up to like 12%.
All right. Yeah. Yes.
I am look, I've always been pulling for the guy. I think the conversation around him is really, really dumb. And that's like priority number 53 tonight. There are so many fun things to talk about this game. You have the Lakers beating the absolute shit out of the Clippers, 122-97. This game was not close after about 3 minutes ago in the first quarter.
Right.
Lakers went on basically like a 20-0 run, the equivalent thereof. So you have that. There is a certain somebody sitting courtside for this one, taking it in and seemed pretty happy about what he saw in this one. There was a certain somebody playing in this one who had a very different, I think, pep in his step. Than we have seen in a little bit. I think that's also probably related to the guy sitting courtside. The Lakers as a unit moved and committed to defense in ways that if I'm Anthony Davis, I'm like,
where was this? Yeah.
I couldn't get you guys to make 2 rotations all year. Now you guys are making multiple rotations and taking real joy in shutting down the Clippers. And then also we have the trade deadline in 48 hours or so, which is going to be an interesting thing. Raj, I am thinking some irresponsible things about what this team is capable of. The same team that essentially the same team that beat the shit out of the Knicks on Saturday and then turned around and beat the crap out of the Clippers here. 5-1 Grammy trip.
Yeah.
This team that we just saw play tonight is adding Luka Doncic into
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
This doesn't even feel legal. It doesn't even feel legal. They showed Luka on the bench. Are we sure that is that supposed to be there? Is he supposed to be there?
Those moments where LeBron was doing it on purpose too.
The covering
one thing LeBron is really, really good at on nights like this, especially nationally televised games, he knows what kinds of pictures Getty is looking for, and AP Images is looking for, USA Today is looking for. He was sitting next to Luka a tremendous amount throughout this game. And they were just sitting there like 2 schoolboys who were like, dude, can you believe we got picked to the same team? I remember when I was playing really, really young, when I was playing rec ball, when I was really, really young, you would have these policies where my dad used to coach us. And then my buddy and I spent all of our childhood playing together, a guy named Jesse Liu. We spent all of our childhood playing together. And then eventually we got pretty good. We realized oh dang, we might be all right. And again, it was rec ball, so it didn't take much to be considered all right.
Sure.
And I remember it was our 8th grade season or something like that. And we were just kind of sitting there bouncing on the bench. I can't believe we're about to play this season together. This is insane. At that point, my shot hit really that's the whole reason I played in high school, was because I could shoot. Jesse was a tremendous point guard, and we're just oh my God, this is going to be incredible. And I feel like that's what we saw. Like every time LeBron did anything, camera panned over to uh, freaking Luka, who's just
Luka and
like sitting
LeBron.
there giggling, like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, like this is nuts." Before we get even into the game, like I want you to, I think honestly, that's the stuff that people want to hear from us most, like how we took in, put us in the room with you as the Lakers are playing the way that they did, and they kept on panning over to Luka or
Oh
Luka
my God.
and LeBron, who were both sitting there looking like, I can't believe, can you believe it? I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, it's so insane. It's funny because today is actually my grandpa's turned 92 today, so we're having a little
Yeah.
birthday celebration for him. So happy birthday to my grandpa. But no, we're sitting there, and he doesn't watch basketball, but I'm just making all kinds of noises and sounds because the Lakers keep hitting threes, and the lead just continues to grow, and yet it continues to pan over to Luka and LeBron and a few other teammates sat next to him. Right, didn't really bother him. Jared Vanderbilt sat over there. Austin Reaves. But LeBron sits over and they just start, giggling and laughing. And you could tell Luka, like as the game got on, he got more comfortable, and as the Lakers went, the lead continued to grow. He started to cheer a little bit more. But no, and this is just absurd. I can't believe this. It feels like the Lakers hit the lottery in a strange way. They
No,
just,
no, they absolutely, it's not
yeah,
like they hit the lottery.
right.
They hit the lottery.
Yes, yeah, they hit the lottery, and it's funny because all the players played like, there's, how whenever you play or if you play after school or whatever, and you have a little crowd watching you, you get pumped up a little bit more. All the players like felt like there was a rejuvenation there. LeBron came out super aggressive, but yeah, you're watching the two like, you're the guy that's currently leading your franchise and the guy you hope that's next gonna lead your franchise. Watching the team is just, I don't know. I still can't believe it's real. I've been floating above Earth this whole like last 48 hours, and Anthony, this game did not bring me down one bit. Like I fully expected them to get blown out tonight, and I would have come here ear to ear smiling. Would have been totally cool with it. They freaking blew out the Clippers. The Clippers were held. Their injury report was empty tonight. They had 0 players on the injury report. That's their full starting lineup. This is
Yeah.
a good team with actually like a lot of good defenders on it.
They've
And
been
I'm
playing well
watching.
lately too.
And like the whole time, and maybe this is unfair, but the whole time I'm watching Austin Reaves cook Chris Dunn, I'm like, in the future, Anthony, you got to put Norm Powell on him because you got to throw one of those guys have to guard Luka Doncic. But tonight, obviously, Luka's not playing, so you get to throw Chris Dunn or who's the other guy? I forgot his first name. Amir Coffee on him.
Give me your coffee.
Yeah, but in Austin still cooked all their switches. But no, this is absurd. I'm still in the I know I've seen you on Twitter, saying, job's not done, and I agree with you. And I'm not saying like park your car and build a house here, Anthony. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is just stop and smell the roses a little bit because it smells freaking good. Like it smells really good. I'm just saying stop and smell for a little bit. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like, build a house here. I'm just stop and smell for a little bit because it smells freaking good here.
Here's my thing. And this is how I'm wired. The nicer the roses smell, the more I'm like, Like
Something's
I remember
wrong.
my little brother, it was a few trips ago, but Hamilton had just come out, and one of the songs was called "Never Satisfied."
The play, right?
And the play, the musical,
Okay.
not just come out. It had been released on Disney Plus, and Avery loved it. We were watching it a ton. I didn't really complain because I also liked it. And they had a song there called "Satisfied" or "Never Satisfied," and my little brother was like, "See, that's you. You're that guy. Like you
Right.
can't be satisfied. There's no satisfying you." And I'm like, "Yeah, actually."
Right. Yeah.
Like, yes, that's how like shit. I think like again, like I can be proven wrong. Maybe it's not healthy to be wired that way. My stress level, my blood pressure is probably a little higher because I'm wired that way, but that's how I'm wired. And the other thing too is the one thing that we I think are going to learn in the CBA is your windows to succeed are way shorter
Sure.
than we think or teams think. And I
Yeah.
think the Lakers have a real window here, a real one to go out and
Absolutely.
Raj, I'm gonna get reckless. I think they can win a championship this year. I think they can. Like
Why can't they?
I hadn't coming into the season, I didn't really see that as a possibility. But you have two of the baddest mother bleepers in the world in a postseason setting. Not a single team is going to want to play them. The Oklahoma City Thunder, like, it was so funny today, and it's been so silly to see, like, Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley, and even Shaq said it today that, like, Dallas got better in the trade. Or, like, I'm a little nervous about Dallas coming out of the West. And
Sure.
it's just like I'm like the reason Dallas beat OKC. Luka
'Cause they had better
Doncic is
players.
their bugaboo. Like, he's their boogeyman. They don't have a single soul on that team, despite being made of basically nothing but crazy athletic wings. They don't have anybody who can do anything with Luka. And then the guy who's going to play off of the ball and who won't have the attention on the weak side there is going to be LeBron fucking James. Hold on. And then once those two guys obliterate the defense and they get the defense going in all kinds of certain ways, it's going to be swing passes, and the guy making that decision is going to be Austin Reaves.
It's absurd. It's absolutely
hold
absurd.
on. How does anybody do anything against this team offensively or like trying to defend them? And I'm like, this is why, again, job's not finished. Like, I really truly believe that if you get the right center, especially if you only have to send out a certain amount of assets, like if essentially, and it's difficult because Kleba can't be aggregated. But if you could send out Kleba and turn him into a center who is at least slightly better than Jackson Hayes, I think this team is like crazy dangerous. So many wings that they could throw at people. They have timely shooting. Gabe Vincent finally looks like Miami Gabe. Lisanal Gabe is the phrase there. Like, it's crazy what I think this team is capable of, because they're 29-19, 10 games above 500, and they're adding Luka Doncic.
It's absolutely insane. I thought, again, Jackson Hayes, even Luka put a battery, it feels like an Energizer battery in everyone's back today, because everyone looked better. I thought Jackson looked awesome. It's interesting, just before we move all to trade stuff, just watching them against the Clippers tonight, Anthony, a team that's given us intense problems throughout the past. And watching it tonight without AD, and again, this is not blaming Anthony Davis. It's just the Clippers' kind of game plan against us is always just throw AD in the action, right? It's kind of like wherever AD is, whether it's Zubac post-ups, whether it's pick and rolls,
pull them out.
We're gonna put him in the action, and then the backline defense kind of has to make up for it. Tonight, there's no Anthony Davis, and the Lakers, excuse me, their ball movement and their ability to kind of just fly around on the defensive end, I thought was interesting. The Clippers had to match up with us. Like, they went to Kawhi at center to match up with us. It's just, this team is forming a defensive identity. You saw it against the Knicks. You saw it tonight. And Luka's going to make Jackson Hayes better. I know that's not what people want to hear, and I'm not saying don't make a move. It's just, this team looks like it's rolling. And they have a playoff 8 or 9 that I think JJ trusts. And I'd love to move Kleber or one of those other guys. But the Knicks and Clipper games were like fully eye-opening. It's been incredible to watch them like play their best basketball. 5-1 road trip, just playing really good ball so far.
Those 3 wings that they have at their disposal now, between Rui and Vando and Dorian, that is, and they're your role player wings. Your other wings are LeBron James and Luka Doncic. So, like, that wing rotation is nonsense. It's ludicrous what the Lakers could do in terms of matchups, in terms of approach to the game, in terms of taking advantage of either side of the ball. And I really thought we saw it put on display against New York, because those wings kind of suffocated Jalen Brunson. And I thought we kind of saw it a little bit tonight, where James Harden went 2 of 12 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3-point range. There's so much length, athleticism, and I think really importantly, physicality. All 3 of those guys don't mind mixing it up, a little bit. Vando got into it with Zoo. Dorian obviously is a dog out there as well. And Rui, when he
Vando.
really, is kind of engaged and focused the right way, I think he can also get in there, and he's at least equipped to throw his body around and throw his weight around. Like Kawhi never looked comfortable in this one. 4 of 11 in 22 minutes for him, a minus 12 for him on the night. Like the Lakers, and again, like those are the role playing wings. And my theory always, and I've charted this, like vast majority of modern NBA championships, the team with the better wing play
Yeah.
wins. Or the vast majority of series, even the team with the better wing play tends to win that series. And the Lakers, I think you can make a real argument between Luka, between LeBron, and between the three guys that I just mentioned, have like I think some of the best wing play available in the sport. And like to your point, talking about like don't really mess with the rotation all that much. I came into the game kind of saying
Yeah.
like I think Rui there might be too much overlap there. I don't know necessarily where Rui fits in. I came out of that game and I'm thinking, Rui finishing catch and shoot shots, with Luka and LeBron and Austin feeding him.
Yeah.
Again, if he can like really get down and rebound and all of that stuff the way that we have seen him at times, like I really think like if I were the Lakers, and I've heard that this is essentially kind of their approach here. If I were the Lakers, I would be looking to move Kleba's contract and get back whatever, again, piecemeal big that you can
Yeah.
get. Ideally, not moving the first rounder. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But yeah, this game I thought was really eye opening in a variety of ways. And I don't want to like completely overreact to 1 of 82. Clippers played a nightmare game. I thought the Lakers came out, punched them in the face, and the Clippers were like, hold on. Y'all don't do that here normally.
It,
And I don't think they ever really kind of responded or reacted. I don't want to completely overreact to this, but I don't know. I see the pieces kind of coming together, and I see what like I don't know if you've ever built anything from IKEA. It
mhm.
comes in this box, and you're
Right.
like,
Million
"This is
pieces.
supposed to be a dresser,"
Right.
and then
Right.
and then you look at you look at these instructions, which look like they're written in Swedish as well as the name, and
Right.
then like it's about halfway, you're like, "Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
see it. I see where I'm going here," and I really think I really see where the Lakers could be going here.
Yeah, and just smiling on this Clipper game, and I don't think you're overreacting either. And I think the Knicks are a really good team, and I think the Clippers are a really good team. They did have an awful game tonight, but a couple things stand out. Gabe, DFS, and Vando, they all play defense in a way where like I know Kawhi missed some shots that he usually does, but Kawhi cooks us, Anthony, on a very normal
Mhm.
basis before we at least had this personnel. I think the reason was because we just never bother him. He gets to his spots in a way where it's practice, right? Where it's just he gets to the spot and once he rises up, it's over. But Gabe, Vando, and DFS all bother you while you have the ball. They don't let you dribble in your normal pattern. They don't let you just dribble in comfortably. And all of them are really like adults with chaos. It's a level of speed that the Lakers have never played with so much. And I think this is a big deal. Ty Lue went small against us. Drew
Mhm.
Eubanks was active tonight. Ivica
Yeah.
Zubac, one of the best centers, I believe in the league, and he was, I thought, pretty neutralized in this game. The Lakers got, I thought, a bajillion strips on the basketball for him. We're flying around again. To your point, I'm sure AD's watching this going, like, I would love for that level of defensive intensity to have been there when I was there. But I thought just going small is something I think JJ likes to do. And you hear Rob Pelinka talk today, and he was talking about the center market being dry, and maybe that could be a negotiation tactic. Who knows? And he talked about like what he wants from a center is a vertical threat. And he said the center market is a little bit costly, but I think you watch these games. I think the team has an ability to go small, and I'm not sure you can build a better small ball unit with Luka and LeBron as being kind of the mainstays to that. Two of the biggest forward skilled wings to ever walk the face of the earth. Those two guys kind of leading your small ball, along with Austin Reaves, who Anthony, I think is giving you all-star level like play at whatever salary he has, which goes to your point of you don't really want to waste that, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get that for very much longer, maybe 2 more seasons, whenever his extension or ability to extend is. So now and maybe the next few seasons is the time to like really go after, whatever player you want at the deadline. But no, this is a legit team. You're 10 games over 500 and you just won 2 road games, quote unquote, because the Clipper game's not a road game, against 2 very good teams who are very well coached and who have high aspirations. This is a legit basketball team that's growing into its own.
Again, Luka is supposed to make his debut Saturday. Fun note on that. I was talking to Pete today, and we're gonna try. Basically, like if Luka plays Saturday, I think the plan for Pete and I is to go live after the game. It's an afternoon game. It allows me to get back onto the grill right after I'm done recording. So that's at least the plan right now. Raj, you're welcome to join too if you aren't doing anything. No, you're in Vegas, right? So
I'm in Vegas. Yeah.
oh man. Oh
Watching
no.
from some sports book with someone having just a terrible amount of money on Luka or the Lakers, just a strange, or betting on the football game that's coming the next day. So we'll see.
So but yeah, the plan right now is for Pete and I to go live after that one, after Luka's debut. But before we, see it in action, I thought we actually saw a couple kind of moments of previews in this one of what that could look like. I thought the Lakers ran a whole bunch of split action in this, a lot of read and react kind of stuff against the Clippers tonight. I thought like they were moving. This is the most, honestly, I've seen the Lakers move without the ball, which I think
Incredible
is
ball
going to
movement.
be the key with LeBron and Luka fitting together is, basically using those guys as, Intel Pentium processors, like, just going absolutely berserk and really shredding defenses that way. And like the thing that I said it earlier, but the thing I think I'm most excited for is like what Austin is going to look like, where
Oof.
right now, late in games and close games, he has the entire defense keyed in on him when he gets the ball. That won't be the case because Luke is going to have it. And
Yeah.
then, you'll probably see like Luka LeBron 2-man stuff. And then once the defense is either collapsed or pierced, the ball's gonna make its way to Austin, and he's gonna be able to make some kind of a decision there, whether it's knocking down the open jumper, which he is very capable at, or rotating the ball, swinging the ball to the corner, or like today he did a good job, I thought, of like driving from the wing, collapsing that corner defender, and then kicking out to the corner shooter. Like the more I think about like what this will actually look like in practice, that at least offensively, the defense, we'll see what that looks like. I love what the wings can do to kind of cover up some stuff on the perimeter defensively, especially if the Lakers go out and get the right center. But offensively, Raj, I don't know what teams are going to be able to do against these guys.
So I think the switch you're seeing, Anthony, is so Jackson Hayes played 23 minutes tonight, which means the rest of the game you had 5-out offense, right? I mean, Vanderbilt hit a 3, by the way, and then Kevin Porter Jr. went on the floor for some reason.
The funniest thing was Stan Van Gundy saying that was a weak tech. And it's like, you don't want guys to think they can walk onto the court, Stan. That man hates the Lakers. That man, like, because the Lakers beat him in that final series when he was coaching
right.
Orlando. That dude, like every single call, when it's like it could go either way, he's always like, "Oh, come on," and it's always got to be, "Oh God." And like that was a wild one. He was like, "That is a weak tech on Kevin Porter Jr." I was like, for one thing,
Right.
Kevin
And
Porter
he's
Jr.
like,
shouldn't even be on the roster. But
oh,
secondly, it's like, you got like, it should be black and white. Did a guy walk onto the court while the guy was shooting a 3 in the corner right in front of him? Yes. Cool. Tech. Cool. We're done here.
It's all the way like on the corner. It was really strange. But no, like so the rest of the game you were playing basically 5-out offense, which what teams do against, teams that do that because it's spaced out. They switch a lot.
Yeah.
And boy, did the Lakers hunt Ivica Zubac in a way that And watching, so this is something. So if you remember last year, it was this, man, what is Austin doing attacking these? He's not this one-on-one scorer, or that's just not his game. This year, there's a level of controlled offense that he's gotten to where he combines his handle with his, added strength to his know-how of, I'm going to get the call because I've earned it. Referees give me the benefit of the doubt now because I do get the foul. I can get an and one on you, and I score from all three levels. So Zubac comes out, he backs up. Are you going to back up on me? Step back three. Comes up on me, I'm driving right by you. I'm getting to the line. Oh, this is Norm Powell. Oh, this is a mismatch. I gotta get to the mid range foul. And so like I'm watching that going. That's without like Luka on the floor to also hunt other guys, and I thought LeBron also hunted switches as well. It's just that, and you're talking about that split action stuff. A lot of screen, guard to guard screens, a lot of wing to guard screens, kind of picking on James Harden, picking on the smaller defenders, picking on Norm Powell. It's just a level of like personnel that we just didn't have to attack the Clippers with. They look shocked. They usually have a game plan where a lot of it's tailored on attacking AD. On the other end, we usually have a non-shooter on the floor pretty much the entire game. And I thought, Jackson Hayes' ability to be a lob threat, and Hayes has just played well, I feel like, from the last few games since he's come back from injury. But no, this small ball is interesting. I'm not saying don't go out and get a center. I think this small ball offense just gives you an offensive ceiling that I think JJ likes, and we'll see what it looks like with Luka. But yeah, these aren't fluke wins to me, Anthony. Like the Knicks and Clippers, these are really good teams. That the Knicks game was close, but tonight, like you said, tonight was not close at all. They were up 30. The G League guys kept them up 20. This is a really good win.
Austin had that combination against Zubats, where the first play. So the Clippers, by the way, had just gone on a bit of a run.
Yes, cut to 13.
Yeah, they cut it to 13. I don't know if it was the first shot that was made to get the run going back in the right direction, but it was one of them. And he did the thing where you go like, I'm left-handed, so it's in reverse, but you go like, why isn't? Well, that's weird. Is that one? Nope. My things are way off. That's weird. All right. Well, that sucks. Is it that? It's not that one. Anyway, but like I'm trying to give myself a little bit more room here. Like essentially, Austin went like between his legs, hesitation, hezzy, and then into the jumper, right? And then the second time he went between the legs, hezzy, put his hand over the top of the ball, didn't touch it obviously, put his hand over the top of the ball. Zubats goes like this, and he gets right to the layup,
right
and it
by
was
him.
like the cleanest, easiest look that Austin can get there. And it was just like, damn, he's building on stuff, like he went into that. So essentially what the Lakers basically decided was like, okay, we need a couple buckets to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Because the Clippers were playing really well. Let's get Zubats onto Austin, not LeBron. Let's get Zubats onto Austin. And actually there was a play too where I think it was the first one where they had gotten the switch. Rui actually had a bit of a mismatch because he set the screen that allowed Zubats to guard Austin. And the whole time Rui had the ball, LeBron's pointing at Austin. He's telling him like, no, get the ball to Austin. He's got the mismatch. And that was the first one that Austin made the three on. And then the second one, he pulled Zubats out, got right by him for that layup. And again, like, those are the kinds of mismatches that Austin is going to have going into possessions now. Like those are, because all of the best defenders are going to be going up against LeBron and Luka. So you're going to have Austin either or both. Actually, it's going to be like Austin against poor matchups at the onset of possessions and or against compromised defenses. And that's where it's going to be like, it's going to be so much fun to watch what that's going to look like, because like so much of especially playoff basketball is just create the good shot.
Yeah.
That's all you could ask for. Just create the good shot. The team that creates shots consistently enough and holds the other team from creating those shots consistently enough over the course of a 7-game series, that's usually one of the primary dictators of who wins that matchup. And the Lakers, between those three guys, are going to be able to create wide open looks basically at will.
Yeah, right. And I think the part that's under kind of stated here, Austin's like growth as a passer makes those three. And he's not on the passing level of Luka and LeBron, honestly. And I think 99.99% of the world that's ever existed isn't on the level of passers those are. But just the levels that he's gotten to makes those three pretty much unguardable with just standard talent around them. And I was watching tonight, they were at sometimes, Andy, they were blitzing Austin because they had like Norm Powell on him, so they were trying to get the ball out of his hands. I was like, man, you can't do that with like LeBron and Luka on the floor. It's just impossible. Or if you do, you're toast, because those two have a 4-on-3 with each other. And to your point, like Luka's a top 5 offense to himself. That's just where he is. It's where LeBron was like when he was this age. It's just that guy's going to get you a good shot every single time down. It's where Jokic is as well, right? Doesn't matter if Jokic has us two and 2 other people on the floor. You're getting a great shot, every single time, and you're going to have a top whatever offense. Luka's in that category. You combine his supercomputer or processor, as you said, with LeBron's. It's just the offense is going to be great. The defense can get to just a standard level. I think that's their kind of next goal, but I'm super high on those 3 as a trio, an offensive trio that most teams don't have 3. Like the guy you put on Luka isn't really the guy you can like. I mean, the guy you put on Austin isn't really the guy you can put on Luka, which isn't exactly the guy you can put on LeBron. All 3, Luka and LeBron, they probably switch those because, I mean, you're the guy you have guarding LeBron. Probably you'd be okay with guarding Luka, but it's an interesting kind of matchup hunting offense that Luka's able to do, and he's killed the Clippers as well. He's made Zubac unplayable in playoff series. It's just I can't wait till Saturday where it looks like he'll play in Indiana. I can't believe this is real. Yeah, like we're gonna watch Luka freaking Doncic. I remember when D'Lo brought the ball up the floor the first time, and I was like, oh my! Like after the Russ situation, it's like, and it was like next to Malik Beasley. I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah, like
look at this
going from
space.
like the darkness that like was that Russell Westbrook era, and then like, oh my God, these guys are like fun to watch. And look at Beasley. Do you remember that first game Beasley made like 5 threes?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, watch D'Angelo Russell, and like now it's gonna be Luka Doncic bringing up I can't even picture it. It's just we're gonna have.
Well,
Luka
also
Doncic.
the notion of Luka being able to pierce the defense without a screen too, like in those 5-out sets. The fact that they won't have to go to a screen, they could just go like, "Hey, Luka, can you just get into the crack of the defense and like really kind of mess things up?" And he'll be like, "Sure, that's what I do." Like I can't wait to watch that. And like this is the thing. So I forget where I saw the tweet today, and I'm sorry I'm not giving you credit, but all of the takes that have been over like the last 48 hours of like, I don't know, like Luka and LeBron, they really, they both
There's
like
only
to have the
one basketball. Yeah,
all that shit. They have said that about LeBron and Dwayne. They have said that about LeBron and Kyrie. They have said that about LeBron. And like, it's just like every time it's like, he ends up figuring it out. Yeah. Turns out actually basketball isn't that difficult. I always laugh when people talk about like, man, basketball is this like really, really difficult thing to just like figure. It's not, man. Like it really isn't. It can get difficult. And like, trying to defend this Lakers team, for example, is going to be very difficult. But it's like at the level that LeBron and Luka are at, basketball really isn't all that complicated. Those guys know how to play together. Those guys know they know how to play together too. You look at those guys on the bench, there's no moment of like, man, I wonder like,
yeah, where are you gonna stand when I'm over here? No, there's none of that.
There's no moment like that. They're both like, dude, did you just see what I did over there? Can you imagine if that's you on the weak side? Like, it's just like, it's wild. Absolutely wild. But yeah, let's go ahead and really quickly hit on some of the deadline stuff. I know that there's a bunch of requests out there for us to talk about Nick Claxton in particular. That would be like the most all in that the Lakers can go feasibly. I don't think Miles Turner is an option. So like
Sure.
I don't really think like that's on the board.
Hmm.
But Claxton, you can get to Claxton with Rui and Gabe, the first, the second, and maybe a swap down the line. I think that probably, based on what I've heard, gets that done. Um, I think the Lakers would probably consider that steep. I
Sure.
think if the Nets only hear about like a pick, a second, and that's it, I think somebody else, if Claxton is actually available, it sounds like somebody else would be able to beat that offer. So the Lakers would have to sweeten the pot. That's like one end of the spectrum of like as all in is I think the Lakers can
Right.
realistically go and get somebody now. I would really like that fit. I would push hard for Dayron in that trade too. See if you could
Sure.
add like Wood and bring in Dayron as well, since you're giving up an unprotected first. Another option that the Lakers I've heard have kicked the tires on is Robert Williams. Portland is asking for an unprotected first for him, which doesn't matter if they're asking for it because that's basically the only kind of first that the Lakers can offer. I'm also not very worried about protecting first round picks while I have Luka Doncic in my
Sure.
organization for the foreseeable future. Um, I think Robert Williams you can get to with I just had him pulled up. My bad, everybody. But I think you can get to Robert Williams' salary with Gabe and Wood, which
Hmm.
I would try to do if I'm the Lakers. Um, and then from there, like those are kind of like the first round pick all in type of options. And
Right.
then from there, like the other kinds of options that you're looking at for the Lakers is like, um, why doesn't Spotrack let you just backtrack? It's so annoying. Um, Spotrack salaries 24, 25. And then after that, though, it's basically like, uh,
Mark
like the Steven
Williams.
Adams of the world and essentially guys who would be like starters because they're better than Hayes, but wouldn't be like, I don't want to call them not needle movers because I think the needle now moves a lot easier with Luka and LeBron on
Right.
the team.
Yeah.
Um, but like obviously not the impact guys that like Claxton or Williams could potentially be. What direction do you think the Lakers should go in here?
So, Anthony, this is how I kind of see this. Earlier in the show, you said, the Lakers won the lottery, right? And if you listen to anything I don't watch a lot of movies, but I listen to a lot of stuff about finance and stuff. Listen to people who win the lottery. The worst thing to do when you win the lottery is go buy a $500 million house. That's like the worst thing people do. The first thing
Yeah.
you should do is, learn about investments and learn about kind of where to put it. I look at the Lakers and I think Rob Pelinka agrees with you. I think he won the lottery. And I think the Lakers feel like they won the lottery. And they were very, humble about it I don't know if humble is the right word, but kind of quiet about it in the presser today. It took Luka Doncic for them to, release themselves from a first round pick. I know there's context around all of that, but I mean that's exactly
And
what
still
happened.
didn't release themselves from the second.
Right. That's
Like
what I mean.
negotiated the fact that like no, we're not giving up a second first rounder for
Which
Luka Doncic.
driving Mavs fans just like correctly crazy that he
Yeah,
somehow came from.
absolutely.
By the way, Dalton
I sent a
Connect.
tweet today. I was like, man, I wonder if the Lakers could have gotten that trade done with Max instead of Dalton. And I realized after I was like, man, that is the most
I
out
saw
of
that.
touch thing.
I saw that. I was like, that is so out of touch. Like that. I've said that in like private DMs. Like the minute I almost went public with that, I went, no way. There's like no way I could say that. I can't. It's so out of touch. Like
I was like, I fired it off and I was like, dude, this is so like, it's not even
it's so
first world
terrible.
problems. It's like billionaire problems. It's like a billionaire being like, how come my $100 million
Right.
yacht moves in the waves? Like I
Right.
don't like,
Why are there only 80 bathrooms in here? Like what? Only 60 private chefs. Yeah, it's just so out of range. It's crazy. Max Christie can be like can make the next 6 all-stars, and this is still like it. Okay. In any case, I was gonna say, by the way, Dalton Connect had a very good this is why I wasn't included in that trade game tonight, by the way. Had a really nice game. against the Clippers. But yeah, I think that's how they're gonna move, and I think they're gonna go after one of these centers where it costs you a second rounder, and if maybe some of those people's prices come down, I don't think they're about to. Like Gabe's playing too well in a strange way. I think Rui Hachimura also is playing very well, where he's a guy they don't like. I don't think they respect the center position. It's very clear that they haven't for a very long time. And I don't like when I hear names like Nick Claxton, I didn't know like Nick Claxton made that much. And then you go look at it, he's
27.
at 27. Respectfully, they are not paying Nick Claxton 27 a year at the center position, in my
Well,
opinion.
I think they would if he exactly fit the description that Rob was talking about, right? Like
He fits pretty close, like
no,
lob threat,
yeah,
versatile. Yeah, that fits like really close. I'm not sure
not
they
quite the
want.
shooter. I think they would like you're talking like the center that Rob described was like a max. The center that Rob described was Anthony
Right,
Davis.
right, exactly. Yeah. Lob threat, can shoot, defends the rim, can switch.
Like, that should have been the follow-up. Rob, did you just describe the guy that you just traded?
Right.
Totally right to make the trade, obviously, all that stuff. But like, I do think that that like, if Anthony Davis was available, they'd be interested in him.
Do you think Rob did any Hail Marys? Like, how about like Lively for Wood? Like,
no,
would he just
I thought about this. And it's like, if you're Rob Pelinka, like you do whatever it takes to keep him on the phone. Like you just
okay.
keep him. Like you do like you do not like anytime somebody has that bad of an idea as Nico had, you just keep him going. Like you just like like
You want another cup of coffee? Like, I got the
yeah,
next
like
round. Don't you worry about it.
I you know what I got I know you got the first one. I'll get the next few. Actually, let's turn this into alcohol. Like you want like.
Do they sell liquor here? Can we like?
You got any Baileys? Can we put some Baileys in our coffee? But yeah, I think that like I was thinking about that because the Dalton Max thing, right?
So insane.
The
Absurd.
only thing if I were Rob on the phone there, even if I have a preference between the two guys, which I'd be curious who Rob prefers one over the other. But even if I have a preference there, Dallas goes like, yeah, we want AD Max and we want
And
80 and Max. And apparently, like originally there was like the notion that it was going to take AD and Austin and Dalton and a couple picks and all of that stuff, and that like
which it
Rob
probably
talked him
should
down.
have. I mean, that's
Yeah, right.
probably what
Like
it
if I'm
should have
Rob, I'm
taken.
like, yeah. And like, here's something I don't say very often, but like kudos to Rob that if that is true, talking them down from that and bringing that price down is pretty impressive. But yeah, once Nico was like, okay, all right, final offer, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, a first round pick. Even if I prefer Dalton in that trade over Max, I'm like, fuck it, done. Yes, yeah, yep, we're done. Yeah, good call. Or like Rob also, I guess, was like, we got to think about it. Like, hold on 1 second. Let me see. Yeah. Hello. Okay. All right. So 80 Max and one first. Yeah, we'll have to send some stuff to Utah. Oh, you will too. Okay.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah. I got to talk to Jeannie and run it by the boss, and we'll see. It's a lot. We really like Anthony here. Yeah. Yeah. I'll call you back. Give us a couple days to really sit on this. It's going to be a difficult decision.
But don't tell no one.
Like once he hangs up, yeah, I'll talk to you soon. All right. Yeah. Bye. Oh my God. Like you make sure the conference call is like off. Like we've definitely hung up the phone, right? We have definitely hung up. Yeah,
Right.
we are. Good. Like unbelievable. So
yeah, I can't believe it. It's just so funny when Nico's like, yeah, AD Max and a first. Rob's like, did the phone cut out? Like, did the phone cut out? Was that it? He's like, no, that's it. AD Max in the first, just absolutely absurd that he was able to get him down. But no, I think they're gonna go after just a mid center. Again, they feel like they won the lottery, and they're gonna kind of I don't think they'll play it super safe. I think there will be a move before Thursday, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think like, do you see a actual rotation guy going out? The way Rob spoke today, it felt like it was very much going to be a cautionary move, kind of. I think, one of the salaries of a player that's not really in the rotation attached to like a second rounder or something like that. I can't really see a first rounder by the Lakers getting moved by Thursday. At least that's the read I got from the presser, but maybe that's changed.
Yeah,
But
I
like a
mean, like
Mark
down at the
Williams or
bottom
something.
of the market, you have guys like, you have like guys like Daniel Tice, you
Hmm.
know, you have guys like Xavier Tillman, though I don't know if Boston's looking to move him.
Sure.
You have, these are guys that like you could just send out like Wood in a second for those
Hmm.
guys. Um, especially if some of those contracts extend beyond this season. Like Cody Zeller,
Hmm.
um, Dwight Powell, Mark Williams, Day'Ron Sharp is still an interesting one to me.
Yeah.
I just don't know why Brooklyn would move him. They had a great win tonight. Brooklyn did, by the way.
Oh, they did.
But those kinds of players, like if it like that's the other end of the spectrum, right?
Hmm.
Is you go like the Claxton end of the spectrum, and then you have like the Daniel Tice end of the spectrum. My
Right.
personal preference would be to go. I would try to move Kleba, and get somebody like kind of difficult because all of the guys who make more than minimums aren't available. Like Eubanks, I
Yeah.
don't think is available anymore. He just got traded to the Clippers. Nick Richards obviously just got traded to Phoenix, and he went for 3 second rounders. So I don't think they're looking to move him.
Hmm.
Maybe Mark Williams,
Yeah.
maybe, but I think you would have to sweeten the pot quite a bit there.
Hmm.
Jock Landale from Houston, maybe, but he looks pretty washed.
Yeah.
And then you get into like the Jonas kind of range as well. Would you
Yeah.
do Kleba in a second for Jonas for Valanciunas?
No, I
He
wouldn't.
doesn't fit at all into like the 5 out.
He does not, and I've expressed my concerns about Jonas a lot on this pod. He doesn't fit the 5 out. You can't switch. He's a post up center with a team that's gonna about to play an insane amount of pick and roll, switch hunting basketball. It doesn't
Yeah,
fit. I think you can find a lot. Like, I like Mark Williams. I like the center you just mentioned from the Nets. Why am I blanking on his name?
Sharp.
Sharp, Day'Ron Sharp. Like, I like guys like that, just big bruisers that you can kind of play. And I think the Lakers are going to play a very speed style defense, a lot of deflections and running out and just being fast and swarming type of defense, where I think you can find bigs that fit that without having to go all in and go get a center that makes like 20 plus million. I don't see them going in and after
One
that
thing
type
that
of
I do really hope they do is open up a roster spot because
play. For the
I
buyout.
do think there's some buyout guys that are going to be interesting after all of the dust is settled because you're going to have like it looks like Kevin Durant to the Warriors has like an insane amount of buzz from that I'm hearing.
Do you think he
Um,
wants that? Does Katie want that? I just go back to
I
the
don't know.
place that he was clearly, I don't know, unappreciated at, changed the whole way
Although
people
he now
live.
goes, he all right. So he was severely underappreciated there. They have
Yes.
also been completely rudderless since he left. Well,
They won
they
a
won the
they won a
championship.
title. They
Well,
won a
all right.
title
So
after
they
him.
won the championship, but then became completely rudderless. So like he gets to kind of like go in there and be like, all right, guys, we all save each other here. Like I think there's a story to be written there, but it looks like that's how this is going to play out. But Butler to Phoenix, KD to the Bay. It's just like I'm really curious if Draymond gets moved or Wiggins gets moved. It's good. That would be interesting.
There's no way they move Draymond. Like, even Steph and KD as they are, Steph, KD, and that roster minus Draymond is just
Not good.
yeah, I don't know what that is, but It's not much better than
Kevon Looney makes less than 12.9 million. I think he's on an expiring too. So if he gets moved and bought out, that could be a possibility there. Big thing is that like the Lakers need to open up a roster spot to even give themselves that opportunity. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like again, from what I've heard a little bit, the Lakers took on Kleba's contract. They took on Markieff Morris's contract. Although Markieff is expiring this year. But they took on Kleba's contract as part of the trade. And actually, a point that I meant to make is the one, I think, argument to not move the first rounder, the 2031 first rounder, the one argument not to do it is that, let's say you don't trade Kleba, you don't trade Gabe, you don't trade Rui this summer or this season. The Lakers could include the 2031 pick, and they could promise a team that they're going to draft a player and then trade that player to that team. So essentially, you could have as many as 2 first rounders and $40 million in expiring contracts to really, go out and get somebody then. That I think is the one argument that, again, I haven't seen made anywhere, but I think that's the one argument to hold on to the 2031 first. Or not this year, next year. Sorry, Revived. They could, in the following draft, they could draft somebody. They have to draft somebody, and then they could send out that player and the 2031 pick then they wouldn't have the expiring money. So that gets kind of tricky. But either way, even if they don't have that option with drafting a player and trading him, they could have as much as like 39-40 million bucks in expiring and the first round pick next year. Which maybe you do more good for your team than like Kleba's contract and a first rounder would do for you right now.
That's where I'm at. I really don't want to move Rui and Gabe's salary unless I am attaching a first rounder, right? It's just the salary I want back is a player that's worth the value probably of a first rounder. So I like, if I'm doing that, I'd rather move salary that's really not a part of my rotation or not a part of like the future. Maxi's interesting. He broke his foot, so I don't know if that's a player they're into for next season at all. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like a guy that'll kind of be a guy that's moved. But Christian, but you can't, I guess, aggregate his salary. But Christian Wood or whatever it is, attach that to second rounders is kind of the route I think they go. But who knows? Maybe they have a center in line. Maybe Rob Pelinka is continuing to work in silence with another GM that has his in total trust of just him and no other of the 29 GMs. Yeah. I thought it was insane, Anthony. Rob Pelinka came out and thanked 2 people. This is a gigantic trade. This is a ginormous trade that has ramifications for the whole league for the next decade. It affects every team in some way. It's like Jeannie Buss and Nico Harrison. Thank you. Absurd.
I would thank him a lot too. I'd send him a bottle of wine every month for the rest of his life. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. We have a ton of starred comments here, so we're going to be here for a bit, but let's go ahead and kick it off with this bad boy. Mockman starts with Kleba and a swap for Robert Williams and Cam to a third team. You can't aggregate Kleba's contract, even if Cam or that aggregated salary goes to a third team. That I know of. These things are really, really tricky, but like the whole point of it is that like you when they acquired a guy and he has to be moved in a 1-for-1 type of, or a 1-for-2, so long as it's only his contract that goes out, to the best of my knowledge. But look, Robert Williams for, depending on how you feel about Gabe and Cam, or Gabe and who would you'd rather move Gabe in this scenario, right? Gabe and Rui.
Yeah, I probably, if I had to like choose, I'd probably move Gabe. But I mean, it's close. Gabe's playing really well, and we really don't have like a guard whose job it is to defend.
Yeah.
than Gabe.
And he's knocking down shots. So it's like, yeah.
His shots feel like 6 points, Anthony. Like when a Gabe 3 goes down, it
Mhm.
just it changes the whole thing of how teams have to guard us. It changes our whole offensive flow. But Rob Williams is super interesting. I don't think Portland's price is going down, and I don't think the Lakers are giving, or any team is giving. Is any team giving an unprotected
Cronin
first for Rob
doesn't
Williams?
lower his prices like that.
Right.
He'd rather not trade than lower his price on guy. That's why like Jeremy Grant, like, well, in each transaction window, like once Cronin sets a price in a transaction window, that tends to be that player's price for the duration of that transaction window until the next transaction window comes up. And then all of a sudden you're looking at a different situation, right? Like Jeremy Grant in the offseason was like, we are not trading him for anything less than 2 unprotected first rounders and whatever salary that you need to send us to get there. And then obviously weren't able to move him. And then now he's available for 1 first rounder. And then they aren't going to be able to move him because he has a terrible contract. And we'll see what he's available for next year, too. But like in this case, he has stood firm on Robert Williams for a first rounder. And best of luck, dude. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how many teams are giving up a first rounder unprotected. Like the Lakers are in kind of a unique situation because their first round capital is less valuable to them than most teams, especially unprotected. But like for Robert Williams, who his best season, he played 61 games and finished that year unhealthy. And then ever since then has like struggled to get to 30 or 40.
Right.
I don't know how many teams are going to go out and use an unprotected first on him for that. So I think it's a decent chance he winds up. Look, if the Lakers make that call, I'd be fine with it. I think when healthy, he fits a lot of the descriptors that Rob threw out there. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Next one here from Justin Tyndall. As we all predicted a week ago, we would beat the Knicks and Clips by 41, and Luka would be a Laker. Wish AD and Max the best. Max played really well, by the way, in his debut. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, like I think AD especially is put in an impossible spot there. I actually really feel bad for AD. Really weird that he like turned down his trade kicker in this one. Like
Pretty quick too, right? I mean,
yeah, like for all of the noise of like, man, this sure came out of nowhere. Like, I don't know why. If you and if you feel that bad and depressed over leaving Los Angeles, you'd be like, pay me my money too,
right.
And like I think like LeBron's approach to this is kind of overplaying the plausible deniability aspect of things, like not tweeting about it, taking a couple questions before he finally shows any kind of excitement about talking about Luka. Like there's a lot of iffy stuff there that I don't necessarily fully believe. Most notably Anthony Davis giving up that trade kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish both of them the best. I really hope. I told Kirk on the show last night, please treat that guy. Anthony Davis is a really good dude. He's not the guy who convinced Nico Harrison to make the dumbest trade in the history of sports.
That's why I think Max Christie is going to become just the folk hero. He should be their starting shooting guard for the next 10 years, for the next decade. AD, I think, is going to be looked unfairly as, expectations of what Doncic gave you, because it's what the GM told them, and that's kind of the expectation that it's going into. But Max Christie, I think, isn't just going to be loved. A lot of Dallas people that I talk to just DM me and is like, you're right. Max Christie's awesome. I'm in love with him already. And Max did have the best game that you could have, 4 for 4 from 3, I think.
Yeah.
They lost at the end there, but no, it's great. His growth was, I don't know, Anthony, top 3 most fun parts of this season, just before the Lakers started winning, obviously. Just Max's ascension as a player, growing up as a player, the Christmas Day game that he had. So no, Dallas is gonna love Max, and good luck to him and AD on their next venture in Dallas.
Next one here, Ryan Lucas asks, any chance on Mark Williams, rather him than Kessler? I mean, they traded Nick Richards in part to make room for Mark Williams.
Sure.
So, like, I don't necessarily see it, but also it's the Charlotte Hornets and they do dumb shit all the time. So, in that regard, I'm not going to say it's impossible. He probably is on that borderline of first or second round draft capital that you would have to give up. I don't know if you get him for just the 1 second rounder that the Lakers have, but I also wouldn't give up a first for him either,
Right.
without getting significant draft capital back or a lot more beyond him. Like there was the one kind of version of a trade where it's like Rui. Was it Rui? Rui and like Cam for like Josh Green and Mark Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And then like in that case, you would send out, I think, a first, but I don't know if I would do that now. I really like, I've been begging all like for what feels like half of a decade now for the kind of wing rotation that the Lakers have. I'm not, I now have my toys. I don't want to give up any of my toys.
Right. Right. There's like a crazy, I don't know why this one made me think this, but there's a crazy world, Anthony, where the Lakers gave up 2 firsts for like Walker Kessler. And then Dallas
Yeah.
called, like, we need AD. And Rob's like, well, all I got are like some seconds. It was like,
Yeah.
all
You can
right.
have Dalton this
So,
time.
yeah. It's like, oh, I don't know about Dalton. But no, you have Max, AD, and like a second round pick that goes out. There's a world where like that's also the trade that comes out. But no, Mark, I'd be interested in that. I think that's the level and tier of center that they're going out for. I don't know. I wonder what they think of Jackson Hayes. I mean, he's survived a season and a deadline and a half already. So I wonder if they want to continue with him, and he started and he's played well. I think they look at him as like a backup center. So we'll see if how aggressive they are. But I like Mark Williams as an option.
Jordan McKinnick didn't have a comment, but I appreciate the super comment. None the same, all the same. Jose says Luka was getting that Taylor Swift treatment. Yeah, I mean, also like I totally get it from the Lakers standpoint. It's like,
what does that mean? Like
also
the Taylor Swift,
like the courtside baddie kind of a thing.
oh, I
like
see. Okay.
But I also like totally understand. For one thing, all these guys are playing for the right to remain on the team with Luka and
That's a good
LeBron.
point.
So like I
Crazy
play pretty
audition.
well there too. I try pretty hard there too. But yeah, it was definitely funny to see like the Lakers play one of their best games of basketball the first time Luka
Luka,
was
yeah.
out there. George, first off, this comment scared the shit out of me because I was like 125, but then it's for the it looks like the Philippine peso, which is I think but I was like, good lord, none the same, all the same, George. I appreciate it all the same. I was like, okay, you should come on the show for that price. All right, but anyway, George writes, if some of these Lakers played their last game last night, what a last game for them. They gave Luka a show like he was a baddie in the park. Yeah, I think I think this game was like the perfect statement to make going into the trade deadline. Like to your point, Raj, about this is a rotation that you should probably commit to. I think there's points to be made there, but I think overwhelmingly, like the point is you have Luka in his prime, you have LeBron James still playing in the way that he played tonight. 31 minutes, 8 of 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3-point range, 8 of 11 from the free throw line, 26 points, 9 assists, 8 boards, and 3 steals in this one, only 3 turnovers as well. You have him still playing at that level. And again, you're getting Luka and you have Austin on the contract that you have him on right now. Like the time is now, man. Now is now. And I really do believe, and I understand it sounds like whining on Twitter after the Lakers go out and get Luka. But for me, it's like, this is a crazy opportunity that the Lakers have, and you have to maximize it.
Right. The league is as open as it's going to be, right? Wemby isn't Wemby yet. OKC is at the top of the conference, but still a lot of young guys. I think there is a case to just go all in. And I think if the right move is there, I think, you go up and give your first rounder and whatever salary. It's just this team is very interesting. The trade deadline is after the Thursday game, huh? Or it's before the Thursday game. So this is the last game before the deadline. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. You have Luka and LeBron. You have a chance to have two of the best players in the world, in a playoff series. We'll see if they go for it.
Let's see where we at. Justin Tyndall writes, this league getting weird. Luka Laker deal hits a game winner after being 2 for 14. The Blazers are now 9-1 in their last 10 games. Basically taking themselves out of the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, which I'd be annoyed of if I was a Blazers fan. Cooper looks incredible, but yeah, to that point, Luka being moved, I'm going to make this point as carefully as I can because I know some of the language that I'm going to use is a little dog whistly. But I think in a lot of ways, the NBA superstar tier, and actually in general, maybe NBA players, were getting a little entitled. Think back to like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander saying, you want me to play hard in an all-star game, put more money on the table while he's wearing a $250,000 fur coat. Dennis Schroeder today compared the NBA trade deadline to slavery, which is crazy. That's certainly a choice. But I think a lot of superstars are kind of looking at Luka getting moved and moving into this new era where I don't think everybody is going to get the Supermax contract that they think they're going to get. And I think that is leading to a lot of movement that wouldn't have taken place before.
Right. Yeah, I think the Luka thing is a one situation. I mean, it's interesting hearing stars around the league. Steph Curry saying like there's only 3 or 4 players in the league that can, sleep safely at night, which is,
I thought
kind
Luka
of
was one of them.
he is one of them. Nico
Now he
Harrison
is.
I'm not sure. Like Nico Harrison might be one out of like 4 people who felt like he wasn't one of them. The whole rest of the world thought he was. But no, it's interesting to see how the landscape changes, how aggressive teams go. I still think some of this is a little far. Like Jimmy Butler refusing to play in Golden State is like crazy. It's like, then what are you asking for? What are your ambitions then? But yeah, the KD stuff is just a lot of movement, a lot of chatter. It's so funny. The Luka Doncic trade happened, and I'm just like, yeah, KD goes to the Warriors. I'm fine. It's cool. It's all right. There's no hard feelings. But yeah, no, the stars are still the stars, and they should have been before, a few days ago. But it definitely shook up the league. And the craziest part, Anthony, I don't know if you got to watch the full presser, but Luka looked shell shocked. Like that dude did not look like a
He was
guy
like
who
slumped
knew.
down the whole time,
Yeah, did not look like a guy that knew this was coming at all. Like just slept in
He had
Dallas.
just
And,
bought a house, Raj.
yeah,
He just bought a house. It's like a $15 million house that he bought in the Dallas suburban area, suburbia, whatever it is. Like
yeah,
it's, I think he even mentioned the fact that we were spending our first few nights in our house when we
yeah.
when we got the news. So, but yeah, like it's like I really think we're moving into a different era in the NBA where a lot of things that a lot of players kind of took for granted for before are off the table, which good job, NBPA. Well played. Talked about Mark Williams a little bit earlier, but thank you again, Jordan, for the super comment. I get boards for days. Who do you think will be the center of the front office trades for? I think it will be Dayron. The one thing with Dayron is that his agent is the same agent as Austin Reaves, and the Lakers have a good relationship with that agent. They like Dayron. I've heard that they've been kind of keeping an eye on him all year. I I've also heard, however, that Brooklyn likes him a lot too. So like that might make things a little tricky.
Yeah.
I think Day'Ron actually is more possible now than he was back when Anthony Davis was asking for a center to play alongside. I don't think Day'Ron would have been the kind of guy that the Lakers like, all right, AD,
Right.
here you
Right.
go. Like,
Here's your guy.
like, yeah, we would, you're welcome. But I think now, if the bar is merely, hey, be better than Jackson Hayes, Day'Ron is already that, and I think he's going to continue getting better too. So he's a good name to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and he's a little different from Hayes too. He's a little bit more of a bruiser type. It just gives you a little bit more versatility as well. And I think he's a guy that can be had for, I don't know, you know better than me, but it feels like he's can be had for a second rounder, which I think is the price that Rob Pelinka wants to pay. So when he says the center market is dry, I think you said this on X, is like it's dry for the currency he wants to use. You know, in this market. So yeah, I like Day'Ron a lot. It feels like
I like people on Twitter who were telling me that like he doesn't want to commit to going out of center, getting a center because that affects his like negotiating tactics. Like, look, man, he's not negotiating against dummies. He already made the move that he made against Nico, I guess. So, like, I guess in that case, he was making a move or working with a dummy. But like for the most part, the rest of the NBA is aware of the fact that the Lakers' only healthy NBA player at the center position is Jackson Hayes. Christian Wood is no longer playing. It doesn't look like this season. You have Maxi Kleba, who I don't think is going to play again this season. And then you get into like the Christian Coloco and Trey Jemison area. I do think eventually they either move or waive Wood to convert Coloco's contract to an NBA contract, and just give them a little bit more depth there, especially if they move Kleba, or given the fact that they aren't going to have Kleba this season. Cam Reddish has also missed the last couple of games for personal reasons, and obviously hope everything is okay there, but it does make you kind of speculate about his future in LA as well. So just some other stuff to keep an eye on. I get boards for days. Has there been any interest in Claxton? Yes, they've spoken to the Nets about Claxton, I've heard, but I don't know necessarily how far those talks have gone. I don't know if anything is at all imminent, you know. But again, like this time of year, you know, like that's you would have told me Luka was on the table. You know, and that's the thing is that like I find myself completely recalibrating what the Lakers are capable of. Hope Alex Amerling saying I hope we get Claxton. And then John Pierre Briggs writes, what about the Lakers getting Jericho Sims for a stopgap? Is that a real person, Raj?
Jericho Sims, isn't he on the Knicks? He's a super athletic center on the Knicks, and I think Mitchell Robinson is returning soon. So I think there was some kind of scuttle that he might be available.
He is on the Knicks.
I like him. Yeah, he's a real player. He had some fun moments. He had some fun moments on the Knicks. I think last year during their run, again filling in for Mitchell Robinson, he played very well. He's similar to Hayes to me. I think he's better than Hayes. Again, it's not a bar that's very high, but you know, I think he is better than Hayes. Very athletic, very lob threat type of guy. I think he's a better rim protector too. But again, I think he falls in the tier that we're looking at, the like second rounder. But I think the Knicks like him as well. But although you asking if he's a real player doesn't like help how much. You made me almost question, like, I'm pretty sure that's the guy I'm thinking about. But
I think at one point in my life, I knew that was a real person. Here's the thing. I have been up for like 72 hours. Like you guys can see it in my, Jen saw me the other day and she like looked at my eyes and she was like, Jesus, you need to sleep. Like you need to go to bed. And at one point tonight, like we ate dinner, I made some like wings for us. And after dinner, I told Jen, I was like, hey, the Lakers play at 9. I'm really tired. Is it okay if I like just lie down for a little bit while the kids are in the bath? And she's like, yes, please. Your eyes. I'm getting a little nervous for you. So, yeah, Jericho Sims, actual human being. Bashir writing that Jake Fisher and someone else reported the Lakers and Jericho Sims. That, again, stopgap kind of a deal. So Dayron Sharp, Jericho Sims, like, the Lakers are going to put a first or a second rounder and one of their veteran minimum expirings on the table and see what they can get.
Also, like these players, they get like an extra boost playing next to not just LeBron, not just Luka, obviously, but LeBron, and like these centers aren't the same around the teams that they're on. It's just so whatever Jericho Sims is, he'd be better here. 58th pick in 2021. So I for some reason I thought he was a higher draft pick, but no, super athletic guy. Then I'd be into, again, falls in the tier that I think they're talking about with Dayron Sharp and Mark Williams and guys who are kind of in that second round tier.
I'd still be nervous with our center rotation if we play. Look at me, When have you heard me say that? But if the Lakers play the Nuggets, I would be really nervous with our center rotation going against
Right.
Jokic. Like,
Right.
as much as I would be nervous if I were the Nuggets getting ready to go against Luka and LeBron,
Yeah.
Jokic getting 48 minutes of Jackson Hayes and Jericho Sims or Dayron Sharp or any of these guys, like that makes me a little nervous, So hopefully they avoid that matchup. Ideally, the Nuggets
No,
play
no,
against
that's
like
not how we.
the Thunder and they get knocked
No,
out by them, and then the Lakers play the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals.
no, that's not. No, you can't run. We don't run from matchups, Anthony.
Oh, I do. I'm at that age, man. Like, nope. Because look, here's the thing, Raj. I think that approach, that approach to the postseason totally worked in as of like 5 years ago or whatever, where it's like you compile the best team and you throw your best punch at every team that you face and you face who you face. Right now in the NBA with this new CBA and how the league's NFLification, this leaning heavily into parity across the league, like actually matchups are really going to matter here from now on. And in this case, the worst matchup for the Lakers is still the Nuggets.
Sure. I just don't like that approach of it. You have two of the top, whatever best players in the league. And I think I think our approach against Denver completely shifts now. Like the way you
Yeah.
attack them completely shifted. Not only like Jokic also has to guard now in this position a guy who can hunt him in ways that we just really couldn't before in terms of on the perimeter. I'd be interested to see. I don't remember if we play Denver one more time this season. I'd be interested to see what that looks like with Luka. Obviously, you'd like more center kind of help there. I'm sure Rui's not excited to guard Jokic for the third straight year as well. But yeah, I'd be interested in that. But I think they'll go get another center. I don't think it'll be of the Claxton and that tier. Miles Turner, right? Those names are kind of, the water's kind of been shut off, I feel like, in those just from this trade. But we'll see on Thursday.
All right. As of now, the plan is basically to go live whenever we get, big news or anything like that. So, keep an eye out for those episodes if we do go live. I do also want to basically be live for the deadline and during the deadline. So, probably do some kind of a deadline show here in a lounge live as that time is coming to a close. And then obviously, a bit of a recap in the hour or so after the deadline is done. So be on the here we go. Vinny, Jaj, can we get both Sharp and Clax? Yeah, they can. It would be Rui, Gabe, and like one of the minimum expirings for Claxton. Maybe another minimum expiring for Claxton and for Sharp.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, that is going to do it here. Been here a little while now. So thank you everybody for tuning in. 6,500 of you watching right now. So between Twitter and YouTube. So thank you for that amount of support. Please hit that like button. Please hit that the follow button and the subscribe button and all of that good stuff. And until the next time you guys hear from us, I'm Anthony Irwin. That's Raj Chapalu. This has been the Lakers Lounge. Have a great rest of your night. Make somebody else's. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.